Hi, everyone. Welcome to our podcast, Discover AIG Multinational Latin America. I'm your host today, Alan Rodriguez. I'm the Regional Global Fronting Underwriter and Client Executive for our Multinational Division. And do you want to know more about captives? Well, stay tuned for this episode. Today's episode is about financial benefits of a captive. Before we get into that, I'd like to introduce to you a very special guest, Marisa Diaz-Canedo. She is Director at Interprotection for Alternative Risk Transfer Solutions. So welcome, Marisa.
Thank you very much for having me, Alan. I'm pleased to be here. So, as you said, I'm Marisa Diaz-Canedo. I work at Interprotección. I've been working in insurance for more than 10 years. Right now, I am a lawyer by formation, and I am in charge of all these solutions, including risk management and client service as well.
Well, thank you for joining us, Marisa. And well, let's get into the first topic today. So could we talk about what are the main considerations for a client in setting up a captive?
Well, I think the first thing that they would have to look at is the size of their program, right? So how much premium are they paying right now, and how much risk retention are they willing to have in their parent company? So we would consider, because there are also costs associated to that go between 60, 100 and 100,000. And it's very, it could be expensive if it's not worth it to explore it. So I would say a good program would be paying at least $1 million on premium.
Okay, interesting. So the premium is very important for setting up the right level for a captive.
Right.
And what are the main benefits if we look at the insurance program side of the captive?
Okay, so a captive, it's important to say that it is a long-term solution for the risk management, right? So there are great potential in savings, insurance premium savings. However, it should be considered that probably in the first years of the captive, it won't be as immediate. So it's like a more medium long-term project. We also have the stabilizing of prices, because if you have your captive all set up and it's sufficiently capitalized, you can stabilize the prices and avoid the ups and downs of a market. Also, if you take into consideration your own claims experience, it is not affected by others' claims experience. So you have those three very important benefits in terms of insurance. Another benefit in terms of insurance is that reinsurance from the captive, it's much better contracts and prices on the reinsurance side, because markets are willing to participate with captives more often.
Well, interesting how a captive can unlock additional benefits in the risk transfer side, including reinsurance and the structure. Thank you. Interesting. And what would be the main benefits when we look at the parent company in having a captive?
Right. So one of the main benefits is that, of course, I'm sure that in another episode you're going to talk about taxes, but that might be one of the, not necessarily, but might be one of the financial benefits. Also, it helps stabilize the cash flow, not only in the premiums, because you have this unused premiums minus claims that you can later invest in some other things. It can pay dividends, so and you can defer it for as long as you have, so it doesn't have an immediate impact on the cash flow of the company. Another benefit that you could have is the reduced cost of capital, because sometimes captives can accumulate quantity enough to make some maybe loans to other companies within the group. The reduced cost of litigation, because you have to have a focus on prevention and claims handling efficiency, and obviously covering global risks more effectively. That the regions where insurance premiums are much higher, you can compensate that if you have a global program.
Interesting. Thank you for that. And if we talk about the benefits regarding the insurance premiums, so we know a lot of clients are always looking to be more efficient in their premiums for their program structure. So could you talk us a little bit about the financial benefits around premiums?
Right. So on one part, you are actually effectively cutting costs because you are cutting the administrative fees sometimes, right? So there's not an overhead. You pay just the fees for the fronting or the insurance broker or that, but you can control that. So it's not as impactful. So yes, obviously the premium has to be paid because it has to be part of the captive to make the reserves and everything. But also the premium is, as I mentioned, based on the experience, the claims experience of the company. So because in normal markets, in risk transfer, normal risk transfer, you have a pool of companies that have different claim experiences, and they impact your insurance premiums, right? So it's important to note that the experience of the particular company determines a lot of the costs and premiums. Another thing that I would like to mention is that part of the global risk more effectively. So, for example, you have a company that that operates in more than 80 countries, right? And there is an area that got hit by a particular hurricane at the moment, and the prices, insurance prices are affected globally, right? But it can increase the prices of premiums in one area in particular. So you can compensate those premiums within your captive, as well as lower or increased deductibles, limits. You can buy protection for your captive, and it is more cost effective. So there's a lot to consider in the financial benefits of a captive. Now, as I said, it's not an immediate thing. It's probable that some of the companies don't see it within the first few years, but they will start to see it, and it will become something, even a profit center for the parent company, instead of insurance being cost.
Oh, interesting. And what would you say, what's the importance around loss history and claims versus the financial benefits? How could the claims activity maybe offset the expected or projected benefits financially?
Well, obviously, you have two important considerations within the captive's P&L, which are OSLR, outstanding loss reserves, and IBNR, incurred but not reported, right? So there is one thing that all losses that are reported become part of the OSLR, and that's basically money you cannot touch, right? So it cannot become a dividend, it cannot become investment, because you have to maintain it there until you complete the adjustment of the claim. And the other thing is the incurred but not reported, which is basically a number that you get through an actuarial study with your whole loss history and some of other actuarial magic. And then you have to have that as well. So that's why it's not immediate. And obviously, if you have more claims, you will have to compensate with premiums, and it might not be that cost effective at that point.
Oh, thank you. Awesome. We're almost at the finish of today's episode, but before we finish, we would like to hear your final thoughts around financial benefits for clients and people interested around this subject. What would you say to those people?
Well, basically, a captive is a very, very useful tool for risk transfer, for financial reasons, for tax reasons, for legal reasons. It could be a very useful tool, but it's not for everyone, and not every captive is ever the same. So if you know one captive, you know just one captive, right? So it's all different for everybody, and everybody can experience different things.
Wow. Thank you so much, Marisa, for being our special guest today. It was so enlightening. And for the people out there viewing this, don't forget to follow our AIG Latin America channel through YouTube, and stay tuned for our next episode around captive solutions. Thank you, Marisa.
Thank you very much, Alan.